Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing the full new player beginner starter guide to Path of Exile, Echoes of the Atlas. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. So just as a heads up, this is going to be the full walkthrough for the entirety of the entire campaign, and we'll also go ahead and actually reach endgame. So obviously the first thing you want to do when you go ahead and start Path of Exile is create a new character. Now, this is going to be a video guide that's going to go from start all the way towards the end game doing the mapping. This is the new Ritual League, so we want to make sure we select Ritual. So I know a lot of you guys might have followed me for, let's say, Diablo or any other action RPG. This is basically the season here, so make sure you guys select Ritual League, and I would not recommend solo self-found. That makes it so you can't play with people or you can't actually trade your items. And I will show off how to trade and how to do things in this game. We're going to go through everything in this game. I know Path of Exile is a very overwhelming game, so instead of it being like a new player guide where I show off some basic mechanics and it's like a 15-20 minute video, this is going to be the entire several hour campaign. We're going to go through everything. I'll show you guys exactly how to play this game, as I've seen a lot of people make guides, and I've even had friends say, you know, I watched a guide and I just really didn't understand. The best way to learn Path of Exile is really to watch from start to finish of someone's guide, whether it be mine or someone else's. If you haven't played Path of Exile before, this game is very rough in terms of an action RPG. It's very complex and it has a lot of things to go ahead and learn. But don't worry, I believe you can do it, and there is a blast waiting ahead of us for the fun content. But first off, in the very beginning, you might be wondering what class do you want to play. In Path of Exile, unlike other games, any class can use whatever skill that you want to. My recommendation for someone just starting out is to follow my guide completely. This is not necessarily a build guide video, because I will be also testing out some things that are going to be new, because I want to try out all the new skills and all the new mechanics. But the most important thing is that you will be able to try out different skills and find the one that you like and find out which class, or more so what ascendancy, is going to be the best for that. You can play a caster class that would normally be, let's say, considered, let's say, a ranged spellcasting class, like maybe the witch over here, which eventually can become an elementalist. You can make a melee witch if you want to, a melee spellcaster. You can do a lot of weird things in Path of Exile that other games would not allow you to do. So don't feel like just because this character has a bow, I want to play a bow, I have to select this character. True, there might be some benefits to selecting this class, like the ranger here, if you wanted to be a ranged DPS. But there's a lot of really interesting things that Path of Exile does offer, but I just want to mention that just at the start of it. But select the class that you want. This video is going to be a guide for the game itself versus a class guide. But I'm going to go ahead and select the Marauder, because I want to go ahead and do a massive amount of damage, because I will be rolling a Berserker. But the most important thing is make sure you select Ritual League, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, I do have some things in my game, like I've rebound some of the keys. I've also got different things called loot filters, and I have a lot of things that might be a little bit different, and I will pin them down below in the comment section below if you guys are interested in it. But I know with a lot of people's like Path of Exile starter guides, they tell you download Path of Building, they tell you to go ahead and install these loot filters, and it's overwhelming. I totally get it. But I won't be going through all of the dialogue in the game. I'll be skipping that out. My recommendation for any of you guys that are following this guide over here is that you put this on like a second monitor, and you also kind of play like side by side with me. That's the best way to learn this game, because it is hard. I mean, especially when I just open up the skill tree, people see this and they freak out. Don't worry, we'll be able to manage it. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is we'll be able to eliminate this zombie here, and we'll get a skill gem. You'll see that it says attack, melee, strike. So if we go on our skill tree, we might want to get more melee damage, right? Because that's going to benefit that skill. If I type in the word melee, I can see everything that's kind of flashing here, which is going to give me extra melee damage for that. So it's an easier way for you guys to kind of see, like, you know, if I want to increase this stat, what do I do? But we're going to go ahead and equip this heavy strike on our weapon. So how it works: there are active gems and there are support gems. This is an active gem, so it's going to give us a skill. If I put it on, you'll see we can put on any of these keys. My keybinds, again, might be a little bit different than yours, but it doesn't really matter. The whole point is that you can put whatever keybind that you want. You can go into the option settings, just hit escape, go to options. You can change a lot of these other settings if you want to go ahead and do so, but I won't go into the options really here. But one important thing is that I really recommend you guys to select something for move only. Usually people want left click for move only, but I like to put it on a key. But this will make it so I can move, and I won't actually like hit an enemy. Like I can just move. It's actually a very helpful tip, especially for certain classes. So you'll see that if I use this, it does use mana. It can knock back the enemy, and also gives us +2 to melee strike range. And we also have a chance to deal double damage, which is quite nice. Now, if I run low on mana, I can go ahead and hit what's defaulted. I believe it's 5. You'll be able to go ahead and use a mana flask. I mean, they basically tell you, you know, in the very beginning what is what. But yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to cover in this game, and I think it's impossible to cover Path of Exile in just like an hour or two even. Like, you need the full playthrough guide. So like I said, whether you decide to watch you know, myself play or another streamer, this is the best way to learn Path of Exile, because I get Diablo players all the time like saying, hey, I want to kind of learn Path of Exile. I'm not sure if you need to enable auto-equip, but to equip an item, I'm not going to go through every single small detail in this game as far as like an action RPG goes, since most of you guys probably have played it Diablo at some point. But I'll try to give you guys as much info as possible. But it should be pretty self-explanatory. If an item drops, you click on it, you can pick it up. You know, it's like move forward and click on things to attack. Like, I'm not going to do like a very basic, like, I've never played a game before tutorial. This is going to be a walkthrough. But I will go over pretty much everything that you need to, and I'll explain things faster than some of the guides. So this is Ruthless support. So you can see that there is a, oh, I'm just going to go ahead and do it like this, and I'll explain. Oh, it's gonna, I guess I have the tooltip on. Anyway, so this is Heavy Strike. You can see that this one says it's a support. So it says support melee attack. The best way to check if a support gem works with the active gem is if I put it inside over here, and then I mouse over it. Over on the active skills where it says Heavy Strike and there's a green check mark, that means it will work with Heavy Strike. So what it does is every third attack, I'm reading in the blue text, every third attack with supported melee attacks deal a Ruthless blow. Ruthless blows with supported skills deal 75% more melee damage. And then the Ruthless blows with supported skills deal 75% more damage with bleeding caused by melee hits, and they also have it so it has a base stun duration. So if I equip this, you will also see that it will cost more mana. It's almost like you're customizing your own skills, and it's going to get way more complex as we play the game. But we're going to go ahead and run right to the boss over here. I'm going to leave the tutorials on, not because I need them, but like it might be just like a good time frame so I don't give you guys too much content at once. We'll go ahead and grab this little iron hat.
My mana is gone.
We'll go and grab these gauntlets too. And there'll be a boss coming up. But the game is definitely complex, and if you feel overwhelmed again by just looking at the skill tree, don't worry. A lot of people feel that way. We're gonna actually get rid of these guys because they're gonna be a little bit annoying. But you'll see every third hit we're gonna be dealing massive amounts of damage to Hillock, and you can see his HP just went back up, which is really cool because, you know, I like the idea of the game letting you know ahead of time that this game is serious. It does not mess around, because it really doesn't. The game is very, very difficult. For, again, a player starting out and not following a guide, but you guys have me, and I'll get you guys to the end game, no problem at all. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and pick up everything, just so we can get more Scrolls of Wisdom. It's kind of like a Scroll of Identity if you played Diablo over here before. So you'll see that it wants us to go ahead and put in our passive skill point. So I'm going to go ahead and put this right over here. If you guys want to follow this, feel free to go ahead and do so. But again, the point of the video is not like a build guide. It's supposed to be a Path of Exile guide. So you can play any class that you want. You might start off with a different gem and stuff. That's normal. For each class, they'll get different gems. Eventually, you can use every skill, but it's just how they give you them in the very beginning will differ.
Farewell.
So we're just going to go ahead and talk to all those guys that have the exclamation mark. And then we can get a new skill. We can get Ground Slam or Molten Strike. I'm going to select Molten Strike just because it looks a little bit cooler. And I just want to show you guys like all the skills in the game as well. So once again, the most important thing to do is check, does it work with that skill? We have the check mark, yes. And then I'm going to go ahead and sell a lot of these things just because it will go ahead and grant us Scrolls of Wisdom, which we will use to actually purchase some skills. So you'll see that we can go and purchase these as well, which are rings that just grant us some small amount of damage, which I actually want to go ahead and get. But if I go to sell items, most of these things in the very beginning, I couldn't equip. I can actually dual wield, but you can't do it in that menu, so now we can dual wield. So I'm going to go ahead and sell all these things, and we're not going to get really anything good out of it. All it's really used for is getting these transmutation shards earlier on. But if you sell like basically anything, you'll get at least what's called a scroll fragment, and eventually you'll be able to get a Scroll of Wisdom. So it says 1 out of 5. That means I need 5 of these to get a Scroll of Wisdom, which is like a small form of currency. In this game, there is no gold as currency, but everything that is called currency in the game is something that modifies your items in most circumstances. There is technically some other forms of currency, but we'll get into that as we progress in the game. So I'm going to go ahead and just sell these just so I can get some stuff. And then we're going to go ahead and do the very first quest in the game that we'll be getting from town. We're going to go ahead and do this medicine chest. And it's going to grant us an extra skill to mess around with. Now we have Molten Strike, so you'll see what this looks like. So you'll see when I attack now, there's like these little balls of fire that kind of come out. And they explode on the ground, and they'll deal some extra damage. Let's go pick up everything. In the very beginning, I tried to pick up like everything just because I want as much stuff as possible. Oh, this is the new Ritual League mechanic. This is something new. I don't know what it does, as I have just started this league. This is basically what has been added into this season. And some skills, just as a heads up, will require a certain weapon type. Otherwise, it won't work. So let's see if we can even begin the ritual here. We're going to also, actually, I should get rid of these guys, and I'll show you how to level up a gem, which is pretty simple. All you have to do is click to level it up. So in this game, your gems, and not only your like skill gems, but your support gems will also level up. Sometimes in the very beginning, the league mechanic is too difficult to do. I'm going to do it anyways, regardless. But we'll go ahead and do it. So what you do is you just click on it to level it up. It usually will increase the damage. Sometimes it will also increase the mana cost. For pretty much most builds, you'll want to increase all of the gems. Like, you won't even want to think about it. Just click on the plus. It's going to increase the stats of the item. So it's basically more damage at sometimes higher mana cost. But there are times where you don't want to do that. We'll get into that later. But just want to mention that. So let's see what this ritual mechanic is. Oh, so it looks like you take some damage over time. So again, I'm not sure how this mechanic works, as this is my first like league mechanic of this. Do I have to destroy these? Okay. Oh, so we destroy these totems. I don't know if you destroy the totems and then what happens is a bunch of loot comes out. So we check the altar. Oh, so it looks like we gain some form of currency here. So it says tribute remaining. So you can re-roll, or you can grab some hidden item. I'll complete more rituals to go ahead and do it. So it looks like you get some form of currency, and I guess you can, let's see, pay 15% of an original item's cost to defer that item. This item will reappear in a later area, discounted by 10% of its original cost. More valuable items can take longer to reappear. Okay, so in the very beginning right here, this costs 304 tribute. Sorry, my face is actually blocking this over here. Let me go ahead and actually do this really quick so I can go ahead and move my cam out of the way. So you'll see that this costs 304 tribute. This is, again, a new league mechanic. But I want to get this because it's an extra attack speed. It gives me some life regen, and most importantly, that physical damage. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and select this, and I'm going to go ahead and, there we go. And so it uses, so this is like a new form of currency, I guess, is kind of how this works. I like this like league mechanic already, and obviously we can't buy all of it because we don't have enough what's called tribute. So that is the new league mechanic. So far, I would say that's a really cool. That's a cool mechanic. All right. Oh, so you can click on it again. So just in case you accidentally click on it. Okay. So that's the new league mechanic, and we have how much of our currency down below. So we're going to go ahead and get this one. This is going to give us extra life and some more armor. And actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and identify this just in case. Okay. In the very beginning, getting movement speed is definitely something nice to have. And we'll actually come up to something very soon that will grant us extra movement speed. So like I said, we're going to go ahead and do the first quest, which is the medicine chest. Does it still show the same rewards? Oh, okay. So I wonder if the item pool always stays, because one of them you can pay a small amount of it and it'll save the item in case you see something really good. But yeah, I'm not going to kill every single enemy. In fact, I think it's more efficient not to kill every single enemy that you see as you progress in the game. But I do want to do that medicine chest quest really quick. It's a relatively short quest. And it just grants you the ability to get a gem really quick. That's another Ritual League mechanic. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to go ahead and do it. Scroll of Wisdom. So I guess we just kill a bunch of monsters. Last time we were able to kill like the little altar thing. This one's a lot more difficult. And another thing I want to mention, to refill your flasks. We're taking a lot of damage. Is that because I'm inside this? Or is it supposed to be kind of like a blood ritual here? Because we are taking significant amount of damage. Maybe getting some type of bleed immunity would be really nice for this league. There's several of these pain totems. So go ahead and do this again, and then oh, there's 3. Or is that it? There's a lot of these. I wonder if it's better to prioritize eliminating these, or sometimes maybe killing the monsters so you get more like currency. So let's go check out what we've got. So maybe we'll have to actually move the cam like a little bit lower for our playthrough. But at the moment, let's see. This is granting us extra life. I'll grab the item and then you guys can see exactly what it does. I mean, this is just kind of nice stats. Oh, there we go. So go ahead and equip this now. And, oh, we need to actually equip the ring. We didn't even have that equipped. But so far, the Ritual League mechanic, I think it's a pretty cool idea. And obviously later we'll get better rewards. This is a unique enemy over here. So we'll go ahead and eliminate Fire Fury. I'm going to pick up all the blues. You can pick up all the whites too. In the very beginning, I probably recommend you guys to pick up pretty much until you don't have, like in the first few levels, until you don't have any room. The reason why I say that is because like getting those Scrolls of Wisdom for skills in the very beginning, it's just a little bit nicer to have. And then we're going to go ahead and get another skill point. We're just going to put it into more life and more armor. We'll go and continue. We need to get to that medicine chest. I hope it's not like right there in the corner. But we'll also grant ourselves a waypoint so I can come back here at any time. And this is going to be the mud flat. So we want to go get the medicine chest, which is going to be on the title island. And we'll go ahead and go down here. There'll be a chest, and we just basically open it up. And we'll be swapping skills all the time in the very beginning. Later down the line, we'll be doing some other stuff. I'm trying to prioritize some of the items that... I cannot carry this. I can move this out of the way. That would either, like, for example, this is a white item. Then items can go blue, and then they can also go yellow. But trying to look at items where they're linked. This is the important part, which I'll mention just in a moment. The sockets need to be linked. They also need to correspond to the correct color. Just as a heads up, since this is an action RPG, your map may differ, and some of the monsters that spawn in may differ, but for the most part, they're relatively similar. Alright. They also sometimes during new, not only new leagues, but sometimes when they have like a new like expansion, like Echoes of the Atlas or whatever they're calling the next expansion, they'll also rotate the map, so it kind of feels like it's a different experience. So we'll get this medicine chest. We'll also grab the mana flask over here. I don't really need this anymore. Oh, this thing is huge. Oh, I want this though, because I'm going to go through mana very fast in the very beginning. So one thing that's important, you always want to pick up in the very beginning Scrolls of Wisdoms and the Portal Scrolls. But I will show you guys how to be a little bit more efficient. So I'm going to grab the white items because I actually prefer getting the Scroll of Wisdoms in the very beginning right now. So what I'm going to do right now, you can walk back to town. However, you can be even faster if you log out and log back in. What it's going to do is put you right back into town. So yeah, I could walk back over here and you'll see where there's like this little orange area that indicates that I'm going to like a different zone and it's going to reload in. So for the sake of this, I'll do this one like normally here. But I'm just trying to show you guys how long it takes to go over here, go back. Since I just got the waypoint, what would have been faster for me to do, obviously, yeah, you can use a town portal, right? And that one's relatively close by, so I'm not going to waste a portal scroll on that. But I can actually just go to log out and log right back in, and it's actually a lot faster. Next up, though, we're going to get the Quicksilver Flask. That's going to go ahead and let us move faster, which is a really nice thing to get. We'll also see Onslaught as well as Ancestral Call. These are going to change up the game significantly. So I'm going to go ahead and grab Ancestral Call, and I'm also going to go ahead and purchase Onslaught. And these are 2 other gems. Now, what I need to do is have specifically something that has a red, green, and they all have to be linked. See how like there's like this little like chain in between these? These mean that it's linked. Now this one is not linked to any of these, so it doesn't actually apply. Remember, I have to correspond, like this one would have to go in a green socket, and then the red would have to go in a red socket. What I'm going to go ahead and do is actually remove Ruthless, and I'm going to go ahead and put in the Ancestral Call. One thing that's important, make sure it has the check mark, otherwise it might not work with that specific skill. In our case, it does work, so I'm going to go ahead and throw that on, and we're going to go ahead and continue. I think you can also get, let's see, there's also other skills. I kind of want to get more skills to just show you guys, because I think the most important thing with this game is finding a skill that you really like. It could be whatever, because everyone likes different things, and I can't really say that, like, you know, this skill is more enjoyable than another. I'm going to go grab Ground Slam because I want to show this off. So if I go ahead and throw Ground Slam in here, and it's linked with Molten Strike. These are separate abilities. That it won't, like, this skill won't activate this skill. However, you can have a skill, and then when you crit, it can cast another skill. So there's a lot of really cool ideas, but you'll see Ancestral Call does not work with Ground Slam. But I want to show you guys Ground Slam anyways, because it's a really cool looking skill, and you get it in the very beginning, so some people will want to go ahead and do that. So now I'm going to go ahead and sell some of these items that I picked up. So what I wanted to do is get white items, because it's a lot easier to get the thing that I want, which is, again, the Scrolls of Wisdom. Let's go ahead and see. There's also quality in items. I'll explain that mechanic later, but generally it'll increase, like, the stats on the item.
Welcome.
So we're going to throw that in there, and then I don't need this. Anything that I don't need. Pretty much all those things that I grabbed, I really don't need. Now, certain skills in this game will only be able to use with a certain weapon type. But yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to get more Scrolls of Wisdom in the very beginning. And then I want to show you guys the Ancestral Call, because it's really, really cool. It's actually one of my favorite things to go ahead and have earlier on in the game. I mean, I could just walk out. It's not that far away. But I'm going to go ahead and now use this. Oh, you know what? I just noticed my face is blocking this. I should actually have this set up. So it... because we're going to probably need to show off the map. So let me go ahead and show this off really quick. So going over the map over here, you'll see that if I go ahead and select this little, like, circle, that lets me waypoint in right to the other area. So yeah, I just want to show that off, as it's quite important. And for some reason when I'm upping scenes, I don't know if there's a new update for this game. Sometimes OBS, when there's a new update for a game, or I can just capture the window instead of the game.exe, and it won't go to black screen every single time I swap scenes. But we'll go ahead and now go to the Mudflats, and we're going to go ahead and progress more. And I'll show you guys the new skill that we just got, which is Ground Slam. And then I'll also show you the new support gem that we got as well. So this is Ground Slam. Obviously, acts a little bit different. But what I want to go ahead and do is I could still level this up. There's no downside to just leveling up another gem. In fact, it's recommended that usually you just have gems everywhere so you can just try out things if you like them. And then if you start leveling them up, you can just sell them to other players. And they will be actually, you know, it's like getting free extra currency without really any extra work other than, like, yeah, you're just putting gems in. In fact, you could have multiple copies of the same gem. And the reason why you'd want to have multiple copies of the same gem is because you want to later, when it's max level, you can corrupt it and you can actually make it go past the maximum level, which is the maximum default is 20 for most gems, unless we're talking about awakened gems, but that's way later on. But you can see now with Ancestral Call, you can see when I'm doing one of my skills, it's going to target another enemy that's nearby. So you can see like kind of like these like ghost guys. They're in like a faint red, and that's basically casting the skill for us again, which is awesome. So right now, this next quest over here, we're going to be collecting these little glyphs. There's 3 of them that we have to collect, and you'll see them on the mini-map. There's another one of the Ritual League mechanics over here. Go ahead and we'll do most of these as they come by. Are they worth doing? Right now, definitely. Generally, how it works with League mechanics in a game is if you don't like it, you don't have to participate. Like, I can just skip this one completely. But I want to do it because I think it's actually worth it. You get a lot of really good gear earlier on. That's usually what the League mechanic adds to the game. It's just some type of way for you to get gear earlier on. But also, I mentioned that we got that Quicksilver Flask. What it does is it lets us move a little bit faster. It gives us 40% movement speed, which in the very beginning, that's really nice. That's why I like doing that quest. It doesn't take too long, obviously, to do for the medicine chest. But yeah, I'm enjoying the skill. But if you enjoy Ground Slam, use Ground Slam. So it looks like we just eliminate the enemies. Oh, and then we just get our currency. So you can see this time we cannot buy anything. So we'll just have to go ahead and walk away because I don't have enough of the currency. And that's totally fine. So we actually need to get all of the little glyphs. And make sure you guys click on chests as well. As, you know, just free items. Like I mentioned before in the very beginning, you can pick up stuff. Like, I basically only do this one more time where I'm picking up the white items. Again, it's just so I can get some Scrolls of Wisdom earlier on. Ideally, I try to pick up the white items that are smaller in size. So like an example would be a ring versus like a chest armor. Or like anything that's really like thin, just so I can hold more in my inventory. I'm going to grab this glyph. Okay, this is something important to mention. Okay, so you see how this one over here has a blue, green, and a red. They're all linked too. If I go ahead and sell this to the vendor, he'll give us what's called a chromatic orb, and I'll show you exactly what that does in a moment. But this is why this game needs a full entire player guide, because yeah, there's just way too much to explain in the game for like a new player. That's why I recommend watching someone's guide. In fact, I was looking for a new player guide to send to one of my friends that was trying to learn this game. So I was like, okay, I'll make sure that the guide is good. But most of the guides that I found on YouTube were, you know, 10, 15-minute videos, which is what most people want to see, right? You know, a lot of people won't want to sit around for an hour per act. And that's what this game needs, though. You need someone to hold your hand. You know, you need someone that, like, knows the game to play with you in Discord and, like, kind of explain things to you. And, like, you really need a full walkthrough for this game. Because it's not beginner friendly at all. I mean, for me, you know, that's how I grew up when I used to play games. It's like you just have to learn. You know, our gem level it up, and you know, like I said before, you pretty much always want to upgrade. For now, I would say everyone upgrade all of them, upgrade everything. But later on, I'll mention certain circumstances where you wouldn't want it. For our build, we're gonna do something called cast when damage taken, and you actually want it to be a lower amount. Like, you don't want a high level gem because you want it lower so it can activate more frequently at a less, I guess, powerful rate, if it makes sense. But yeah, don't worry, I'll explain more of that later. Did we get all 3 of them? There's supposed to be 3 of these. 1, 2. Okay, let's go over here. Should be 3. Hopefully it's not like way over here in the corner. Sometimes that's how it is with action RPGs. You look all over the map. We have another skill point. I'm going to go ahead and put it into. So I'm skipping out on the regen on life. We're going to rush to get as much damage as possible with 2-handers ASAP. Because that's what we're going to be using to deal damage in the very beginning. Now, if you want to use 1-handers, that's totally cool too. Like, do what you want to do. The point is to show you all the mechanics, not necessarily a build guide. This is actually going to probably be some more damage. I should check the sockets on it. Okay, so this one will have Onslaught, if I was to put it in. So what I can do is we can use 2 skills now, actually. Let me go ahead and actually identify this, and then we'll use 2 skills. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this, and we'll get the one that has the unidentified, which probably has some form of extra damage. So it has 9 strength and some extra cold damage, which is obviously quite nice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that ground slam, I'm going to put it in here, and then I'm also going to go ahead and put in the onslaught. Remember, it has to be linked. So now when I use ground slam, when I eliminate an enemy, I will get what's called onslaught, and you'll see the buff on the top left. So if I eliminate, so you'll see that I'll have Onslaught. That grants us extra attack speed, move speed, and cast speed. That was another ritual over here. I'm not going to do every single one for our playthrough, although I probably would recommend you guys to do it. It's just that it's going to make the video unnecessarily longer. We're already like half an hour in. We need to progress in the campaign, because that's the point of it. But I'll do more of them. Pretty much once we get further in campaign, we'll be able to get more stuff to do things faster, and then I'll pretty much do the league mechanic every single time. Got an amulet, that'll be nice to have. We'll go do that, and we'll go over to the exclamation mark for the quest. Now there is another thing. You'll see that there's a quest on the top right where it says optional. That optional quest will go ahead and grant you what's called a respec point. So in terms of putting in our skill points, it is kind of more permanent than Diablo 3, but you can put in these things called Orb of Regrets, and then you can basically respec. All right. Okay, so we got all 3 of them. And we'll go and continue. And right at the start, you'll see that there is a waypoint. I recommend, at this point, just going right back into town, dumping all of our stuff so we can get more Scrolls of Wisdom. This is pretty much the last time we really need to do it. Stay sharp. And then we got a reward. We can go and select Decoy Totem. We can get Molten Shell. We can get Ancestral Protector. And we get the Vigilant Strike. I'm going to go ahead and get this, because it's actually kind of nice to have. And in fact, it's something that we'll actually use for a while. And we also have Steel Skin that we can go ahead and show off as well. So now look at, we've got all these skills to play around with, and I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, sell the items. Let's see, what does this grant us? It gives us life regen. The damage isn't really important right now. Okay, I'm going to keep that 2-handed sword because we're going to actually use that very soon. Actually, what's this one? 8 to 16. This one is going to be better.
Farewell.
So I'm going to go ahead and also identify this. And it's got 7% increased attack speed. Awesome. But you'll notice later we might not be able to use some of our skills because it's going to require us to have a specific weapon type. I'm also going to go to Nessa, and like I mentioned before, the reason why I want those Scrolls of Wisdom is ASAP. I want to get those rings with 1 to 4 physical damage attacks. It's a small amount, but like anything in the very beginning does help. I also really like to get ideally a amulet with some sort of mana regen. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just going to grab this one. So I'm going to go and also get rid of this. And I wish you could just sell from here, but you actually have to go here, go to sell items, and then throw that in there. And then we'll get 1/5 of a scroll of wisdom. And then we'll go ahead and go back in. And now we'll have that extra small amount of damage. We have some new skills to play around with. So this is Steel Skin. So it applies a buff which can take some of the damage from us. And it's also a guard skill. That's something I'll kind of explain more later. And there's certain things that are like, while you're affected by a guard skill, you'll get some type of bonus. So this is what it looks like. So you see our duration over there. It doesn't really last very long. You can increase it with support gems if you want to later. And there's also this. So this is a totem over here. It just it's kind of a little like a AI that will just sit there and attack for you. But it's kind of nice to have against specific bosses, just for extra distraction. It's very nice for that. We need to use our mobility a little bit more often here. We pop the Quicksilver Flask. I'm going to go ahead and now go right over here. And that's going to grant us extra life regen. But most importantly, I want all this damage with the two-handed weapons. And on top of that, we have a 4% chance to deal double damage, which will be insane for something way, way, way later on in the game that we're going to be acquiring. Go ahead and grab this mana flask. And we'll go ahead and swap our mana flasks out, and now this will be more than 50 because it was that's what we had before. So there is also another optional quest, but Dweller in the Deep, I'll tell you guys all the quests, what you want to go ahead and do. There, Flooded Depths, that's it. So yeah, this quest we want to do because this will grant us an extra skill point. Some of the quests, they'll just give you a passive respec, or they'll give you like an item. Most of the time, you really don't need the item. It's just better to progress by getting to endgame as fast as possible. Because that 5 minutes that you spend doing that quest, if you want to do the quest, by all means, do all the quests. Because like, you know, if you're just experience the game for the first time, you know, you can also listen to the NPCs if you want to. Like I said, the best way to learn Path of Exile is to watch like a full like new player guide to the game, and do it from like basically start to finish. But I'll mention the stuff that's what I would consider more important. There's also the new Ritual League. Like I said, I would recommend probably doing these, but for the sake of the first part, I'm not going to do every single one of them. The reason why is because I want to be able to not make the part one. Part one is always going to be longer. Because I'm stopping and I'm explaining things. Like, I can get the Path of Exile campaign done way faster than what's going to be shown here. But it's because I'm stopping and I'm explaining things. And, you know, I want to make sure you guys are able to understand the game. As it's not easy. Like I said, I actually tried to look up a guide so I can send to my friend. And I'm just like, there's no way they're going to understand this. Like, if they watch a 10-minute guide, they're going to be lost. And that's because this game just has so much content. It's added so many new things over the course of years. In fact, this game, I believe, was on Kickstarter a long time ago, before it was even out on Steam. And we only had 3 acts, but the game has definitely evolved since then, for sure. You used to have to go through the campaign multiple times, like on different difficulties. Most action RPGs have this mechanic, so it's not that big of a deal. So now that we've got this two-hander, I'm going to go ahead and actually use this. This is going to give us a huge amount of damage. But you see, I can't just throw that on. It's a two-hander. Unfortunately, there's no like Crusader passive like you can get in Diablo 3. But you see, nothing's linked now. So that's kind of what I would consider unfun. So instead, I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to do Ground Slam plus this. But oh wait, I can't use Ground Slam because you'll see that Ground Slam over here specifically will say requires axe, mace, scepter, staff, or unarmed. You can do it without anything. Unarmed, technically there's an unarmed build. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this for now. I would ideally want this to be green or red. You know what, I'm gonna use them. I probably wouldn't recommend using this on this because it's like basically not worth it. But if I can just get it to have either red, green, or red, red. We got green, green. Welcome to Path of Exile. So there's a lot of RNG in this game, and sometimes you just won't get what you want. I'm gonna unequip Sealskin so I can still level up these. I guess I can throw them. Oh, we actually don't have anything to level that up. It's fine. We'll go ahead and continue because I'm still gonna get way more damage out of this thing. But in Path of Exile, I just want to see if I activate it and walk away, what actually happens to. I'm kind of doing more tests. Oh, oh, does it lock you to the area? It actually locks you to the area. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I just wanted to see if I was, like, walking away, if it would still give me some sort of currency. But yeah, you can see our damage is just way, way higher now, right? Oh, that was a really fast one. So this one didn't really give us very much. Again, I'll have to, like, move my overlay. I don't have enough to buy anything anyways. So it's no biggie. But yeah, maybe my can't. Yeah, really, cause I can't really put it on the right side because I need to show you guys the inventory. But yeah, I'll make sure that I'll be able to swap the hotkeys faster without going to black screen because it's an OBS issue. Since I captured this game via .exe. And let's go ahead and go back. In fact, it might be better just to go back to town. Grab that scroll wisdom. Oh, let's go. And here we go. And we're going to go ahead and go over to the right. This should be where we get to the next area. And we're almost one-shotting this thing right now, which is awesome. And we can get these yellows too. Now we'll try to focus more on like grabbing some yellows so we can get another form of currency, and I'll show you exactly what that does. But yeah, that chromatic orb is what we got for selling the item that was green, blue, and red, and they were all linked.
Return to the dirt.
Oh, we can also summon our little like totem guy. Now we can only have one right now, but you can get way more. That's done through like the tree, the passive tree. But what I'm trying to look for is any item that would be a non-weapon that would grant me a green socket and a red socket, or 2 reds that are also linked. That's the important part. You can also buy them in town. But like I said, in the very beginning it's a little bit slower. Just like any action RPG is. It's always slower in the very beginning. And then now, unfortunately we can't really make use of any of these. This is a one-handed sword, which I'm trying to get two-handed. So we'll go ahead and just continue. Coral ring, which will give us, this will give us extra damage. Which I think our damage is like almost one-shotting most things. You can see they're barely surviving. So if I was to identify this, what's it give us? 13, 19. I'll take the 19. I don't care about the stun threshold. I just want to make sure that I'm one-shotting things, because if I'm able to one-shot, it significantly increases our speed. And then again, I'm just looking for. Ooh, here we go. There's a red, and go ahead and grab this. And then now I will be able to go ahead and have that Ancestral Call, and I'll have that Molten Strike, which again, that's where it summons like those 2 guys, and then they significantly will increase our clear speed. Got another iron ring, that's nice. And we can go ahead and identify this. An extra mana, nice. And we'll keep this white one for what's called essences. I like to modify rings and amulets with essences early on. And it'll just basically turn a white item into a yellow item with a certain set of what you can get for rolls on it. They've really increased the size of this area. Sometimes they'll make some changes to this game too. And I want to say that this definitely is a lot larger than it used to be. Alright, so I'm not going to... There's almost no way we can replace the ring with that. It's just extra life. Now we can throw the totem down. So like when there's like a elite, we'll throw that down. And we're going to come up to a cooler boss relatively soon as well. And another thing I should mention, so in this game, your flask or your mana potions, your health potions, how they recharge in the game is not over time. Technically, there are certain mechanics where like you can get passives or something that makes it recover over time. But generally, how it works is you kill things, and if you kill things, you will then be able to refill them. So I wonder what was causing the, what's this do? Your life recovered is slowed, is that what it said? Also, you'll notice that there's an alt chat. I recommend keeping it up. It's extra entertainment sometimes, especially when people argue. but I like to leave it up. Because sometimes what will happen is someone will get a really cool item, and they'll be like, guys, look what I got. And it's extra entertainment, and yeah, I think it makes the game a lot more enjoyable. Oh, also, if you want to play with friends, I don't know what the default key is. Mine is set to S for social. It might be default S. If you want to party up with people, you can click on public parties, and you'll see a lot of people partying up over here. You can see where it says Act 1 Start, or new players. New player guide. Join up with people. The game is definitely more enjoyable with people, but remember that it depends on the loot system too, because you'll see in if I go to create a party over here, so I can let's go ahead, create a public. Here I can create one called test, and I can create a party here. And I can change it to short allocation, permanent allocation. So that means free-for-all means whatever drops, whoever touches it first. It's like Diablo 2. Permanent allocation means whatever drops, that person can get it. And if they want to go ahead and like not get it, no one can get it. But short allocation means it'll be locked to a very specific player for a certain amount of time. So if an item drops, they'll have like a few seconds to pick it up. If they don't want it, anyone else can pick it up. But that's the difference between the allocation mode. And it's very important that you, decide, how that's going to work. In the very beginning, otherwise you might have people that get upset. Now we're going to go in and just get some two-handed melee damage. And we'll basically be trying to scale as much damage as possible. And we're going to be gaining what's called Rage here later down the line. Because I plan to go Berserker. And I'll have a lot of links in the pinned comment and the description box. In fact, I'm not sure if I can fit all the text that I want to, because there's an application, if you want to download it, it's called Path of Building, and you can see the entire build guide if you want to. I'm going to roughly use this build guide. The reason why I say roughly use it is because no one knows what's in the drop pool for this. There's new items that get added into the game, and we don't know what all of those do yet, so that's why I want to say you can use it as kind of a general guide. I mean, it was one of the top DPS builds from the previous league, so like it's not like a bad build at all. It's just I'm going to mention that we might change it so it can match, so it fits this new season, because there are some buffs and nerfs too, just like any game would have when there's a new like season coming out. I originally was going to roll Raider, which was a class that got a huge change to one of the mechanics. You basically can get a huge amount of attack speed. There's another one of these. Make sure you grab these. Again, the red, green, blue linked. It's going to be fantastic up until relatively far in the playthrough here. But clicking on all the chests is definitely worth it. Oh, there's another Ritual League over here. Oh, we got another one. These are nice to have. Remember, I'm trying to get a red, green, red. Let's get this guy. So this mechanic is one of the more like earlier mechanics where you don't want to stand in the blue circle. There's going to be a lot of boss mechanics like this. Don't stand where, they're dealing damage.
My mana is gone.
Like I said, we'll do more of the Ritual League, and I like it so far. My favorite still is Legion, though. So we'll encounter all the League mechanics. So what they do is, unless people don't like the League, or there's some like game-breaking thing with the League, usually what will happen is the League will go on to the next League. Like the thing that we did, the Ritual thing, that will be added into the next League if people like it. I think it's a cool idea, because it's like earning some form of currency, like the Parandus coins or other things. But we'll finally get our mobility skill here very soon, which will significantly change up the pace of the game. Ooh! So certain items in this game will have a higher chance to roll certain colors on them. Like this, I don't really care about this. This was only used. Actually, we can keep that, because I want the like ideally what I would want on this is it to be all red, or like I can use a chromatic orb, and I'll try to show that off, because getting a 3-link in this early on is not bad at all. Like, it's definitely usable. What I want to try to do is get that Onslaught and mix it in with our build right now. But I think we still have some other... oh, we should be leveling this thing up. So yeah, you don't even have to be using the skill to start leveling it up as well. What else do we have here? That we can mess around with. I don't really need Ruthless. I guess I can level it up since it's just kind of sitting there. And you can have your inventory up if you want to while you're playing it. Probably wouldn't recommend it though. So there's a lot of people here. We're going to throw down our totem. Some extra protection over here. Dang, there's so many of these ritual leaves in every spot. Wait, did we not kill the guy in the flooded depths? Alright, we'll go back later if we didn't do that, because I actually want to do all the quests. They grant us skill points, so we don't have to come back later. Oh, that's nice to have. You see this person's trapped over here. And she'll be used later down the line for another like mechanic. Probably shouldn't stand in the giant AoE. There we go. She should come out. You can also use your scroll wheel to zoom in, just in case you want to see things. And if also another thing I'll mention, since I just like saw my character because he kind of looks funny, if you want to change the skins, you can do that in the game. And I'll kind of explain that later. I just want to try to get everything that's more important out of the way first. And usually part 1 of our playthrough is a little bit longer than the rest of the parts. It's roughly like an hour and a half for the first part of the PoE playthrough. But again, if you guys are new here and you do want to see the full playthrough, if you want to subscribe and turn on the bell, you'll definitely see it, as I do plan to upload the full entire playthrough of all the campaign, as this is legitimately the best way to learn Path of Exile. And I promise you that it is worth it. This game is awesome. And another thing I probably should have mentioned a little bit earlier, though, in our playthrough, is this game is actually 100% free. Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I want. We got a red, we got another red, and we got a green. So this will grant us Onslaught, which will increase our speed. So this is also something important. Specifically, once you get to the lower prison, you'll see that there is... I'm going to close this. You could let it narrate, but how this mechanic works is these are kind of puzzles. They're kind of like running puzzles. So you see the spikes go. As soon as the spikes go, you want to start running. And don't worry, we'll have to come back for the chests anyways. So the first time we go here, we want to go ahead and hit this lever. And if we can, we'll go right here. We timed it perfectly. And then we'll go... Don't worry, the spikes will not one-shot you. But they will do a significant amount of damage if it does hit you. And now we're going to go through over here. And then the next part of it is going to be more spikes. And they kind of are diagonal to each other. So right where they were, like right where they popped, they won't be there on the next one. But I'm just going to run through it, and if I get hit by it, whatever. It doesn't really bother me. But that's like the idea and the mechanic of it. And you'll have to do 6 of these, and these will grant us the ability to ascend, basically get our, if you want to call it a subclass or evolved class, you can think of it like that. This guy raises the undead. I'm going to limit him. Just click on the shrine, and it'll put you right back at the start. There's a chest over here. We'll open that up. That was definitely worth it. We've got another flask to go ahead and throw in. And we will go ahead and move down. This guy is like an elite, unique enemy by his name. That's actually okay.
I cannot carry this.
Like I said, trying to prioritize. I don't need that anymore. I just needed a 2-handed weapon. Later we'll start scaling swords, and then eventually we might actually scale out of swords. For something else, for something I want to test that has to do with rage. I want to test out the new buffs, because they added 10 more rage. Sapphire Ring gives us cold resistance. So you'll start to realize, like Iron Ring will grant us extra damage. And you'll start to kind of associate the words of an item with what they can do. I want this stone axe because it's able to grant myself the... Oh, that's actually way too big. So you'll see that it's yellow, so it makes a sound when it drops. That might be due to the loot filter. I don't know what the default sounds are anymore. I haven't used the default sounds in so long in Path of Exile. But if your game doesn't make the same sounds that I have, don't worry. It doesn't really matter. I just need to try to play inventory Tetris right here. There we go. And we will continue downward. Again, there's a lot of these ritual leads. I recommend you guys to do them. Well, Shrapnel Ballista, that's a really cool skill. It's like kind of another variant of a totem. And what it does is it just fires arrows out. And now we'll get to the upper prison. And once we have another skill point to put in. This one's going to be a nice little threshold because we're going to be also able to overwhelm the physical damage reduction, which is quite nice. But if for whatever reason you selected another class, which is totally cool too, don't always feel you need to get as much damage as possible, because in this game, in the very beginning, it's pretty easy, I would say, to kill enemies. Like, at this point, what are we, if we're hitting things, 1-2-shotting things? Because when I hit, there's also those fires that, like, hit the ground. Ooh, this could be nice to pick up as well.
Carry this.
I'm going to go to actually grab this instead of this. Oh, we don't have the dexterity for it. Never mind. Back to this. Oh, it's a yellow. It doesn't really matter. I want it though, because I want it for the colors. And if we get boots with movement speed, I want the boots with movement speed. I'm going to get the extra dexterity. Like, depending on what drops, sometimes that can determine where you're going on your skill tree. So, like, don't feel like you have to copy my skill tree at all. Oh, dang it. We're almost out of room. I'll try to focus on just killing the blues, at least. And let's go this way. We're almost finished with the first act. Come to a cooler boss soon. Let's just melt them. Oh, here we go. That's what we want. That superior plate vest. And we'll grab the portal scroll as well. And we get that nice little DPS boost. Put an onslaught. And keep on going. Oh, we'll grab the portal scroll. Like I said, pick up all the portal scrolls pretty much until you reach, like, towards what I would consider endgame. Like the maps, like the portal scrolls. Even then, I still usually pick them up. Unless I'm at the point where I have hundreds, then you don't really need to pick up all of them. Alright, Warden's Quarters. Nice. Oh, we also need to put in today. What's the Alright, now we have Steel Skin over here, and where's the did I get rid of that? How did I get rid of that? Oh, here we go. Ancestral Protector. I want this for this. And we'll also use our Steel Skin. We can go back into town. We'll buy a lot more skills. We'll get like added fire damage and stuff like that. We'll get a lot more stuff very soon. It's just I want to finish this quest, as a lot of the gems that you'll acquire in the game are tied to completing certain quests or meeting certain thresholds. But pretty much at Act 3, you can get almost every gem. Some gems you can't just get in the game by purchasing them from the vendor, but you can also trade with players. Ooh, chromatic. Nice. So that is the one that changes the colors that you get from the red, green, blue, when they're all linked. And we'll also go back, and I guess I might have not killed that thing, even though I went specific to the flooded depths. I guess I just walked over there, but it'll be alright. So we'll go ahead and throw this down. You can see this guy, he does some damage. Don't stand in the spikes. And we're just doing massive amount of damage. Ooh, but so does he. They actually revamped up the game, and it's a lot more difficult than it used to be. I think it was in the last heist, or maybe ooh, Almost.
Spirit is the
Almost
life
got
of
us.
the ancestors.
But we got another Quicksilver Flask. Okay, that's awesome. So these ones are... That's going to be outdated. I want to grab the Quicksilver Flask because that will let us move faster. And you cannot equip unidentified items. In fact, I think the only game... Actually, we could use this to end game. Removes freeze and chill is actually really good to have. You can also get an item and modify it. And I'll show you... Because I'll probably use this Quicksilver Flask, so I'll do it on this. So you can see that this item is a white item. I can turn it into a blue item. Now, flasks, you can get a unique flask, but you can't get a rare flask. So I'm going to upgrade this from being a white item into a blue item. Now we have extra elemental resistances. Awesome. And this could also be done with, like, do I have anything that's actually... Actually, these boots are okay. I mean, ideally, I'd try to get movement speed onto something first. Let's see what else we have. Actually, we can also do it to this. We can upgrade this. And this is, it removes... It gives us extra charges, so you'll see how many charges it consumes. I'm going to throw it on the ground. I'm going to also grab this life flask. I mean, I shouldn't really do this on this, but I'm just trying to show you guys what... Like, this one's better than that one, so I'm going to go and use this one. It's not really that bad to have to... I just really am kind of mana starved for a while, because since I'm going to scale damage, and I'm going to be trying to 4-link, which will also grant us more of a mana multiplier, so it'll cost a lot more. But there's also lots of stuff in the lore. Like if you click on the letter, it'll tell you stuff about the game. But we're just here to go ahead and show you the guide to complete it. And if I go through every like dialogue and thing, it's going to make the playthrough a lot longer than what I would feel like is necessary. So we will first go to Nessa.
Take care.
She'll grant us a reward. We can get melee splash, which is great. Although with the... bonuses that we have with the Molten Strike, I feel like it's kind of like splash damage anyways. Both of these are great. In fact, I'm eventually going to use both. In fact, I can start scaling splash right now. It's actually not a bad idea at all. But I will first go ahead and sell items. I'm going to see, this is probably going to be more than any other item for DPS, but I'm going to get rid of all these items so I can get as many chromatic orbs as possible, so I can roll this to be exactly what I want. And since this has some quality, I mean, there's also this, which can add another like set of text to it. Like I said, it's really not worth doing this because I can go and sell this and get 4 scrolls of wisdom. I mean, it's a small thing. There's a lot of things called vendor recipes. I'll probably dedicate a video to that specifically, as that there's so many to it. But right now, this is totally fine. It's exactly what I want for the colors anyways, so I'm good on it. And in fact, I'll probably use this for a while, so, I mean, might as well, right? Extra 11 strength, hey, that's good. It's just free extra stats. I'm going to go ahead and now sell this. So sell this, and these I don't need at all. And we will continue. But I will go ahead and purchase also that splash. If I want to type it in, splash, splash. I can type it in, and I can go ahead and buy it. It costs Orb of Transmutation. I don't have one of those, but, hey. I can go ahead and use 7 portal scrolls, which is actually kind of significant. But I'm just going to do it so I can show you more than anything. Like you can get it as a drop too. Like so don't worry too much about it if you don't get like a certain skill or something like ASAP. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, let's go ahead and purchase that. So splash. You'll eventually learn kind of what the little icons look like, because each gem, it looks a little bit different. But I'm going to go ahead and start leveling this up, as this is something I will be using later down the line. So we can talk to all the people as well.
Stay sharp out there.
So let's continue now. We can get Intimidating Cry, Enduring Cry, Vitality, Leap Slam, which is actually what I want. And ideally we will get faster attacks with it, which I can put in here, which that'll be later down the line. But now we will have our first mobility skill. So this is something we will be spamming quite a bit. And we're going to continue, and I guess we didn't kill the Dweller. Like I said, I'm going to do all the quests that grant us the ability to get a skill point. Earlier on, you can see how Leap works. Once you get your attack speed fast enough, it will be significantly better to go ahead and use as mobility. I mean, right now it's still like usable for sure. It's not like it's not increasing our speed. But later we'll be able to hop, 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 and basically there's no delay after the jump. And if you want to, you can kill some enemies along the way, just so you can refill the flasks, so you can be even faster. But yeah, normally I wouldn't have to go back and do this, but it happens. Sometimes you just forget to do something, and that's totally okay too. But if you're watching this and you want to fast forward, you can feel free to do so. But fast forward to where the Dweller in the Deep is, which, like, again, we went to the area to do the quest, but we did not actually eliminate him. And he's probably this way. So I'm guessing this tile set is probably like top right is the area that is going to be the next like zone, and this is where you do the side quest, if you will. But he should be a guy that spawns in, and he looks like a crab. Kill these guys so we can get. Oh, there's another portal skull. That's nice.
My mana is gone.
Alright, he should be towards the end. It's funny. I mentioned, you know, this is going to grant us a skill point, so we're going to do this quest. Where is this guy? He might be towards the bottom. Again, it can be kind of random too. But also, Leap Slam does do damage. Although it's not like what I would consider a good build to be like, I want to do a Leap Slam build. So here it is, Dweller of the Deep. So once we eliminate him, there he is. So we can talk to him for a reward. Okay, now we're going to do the mechanic that I mentioned before. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go to character selection. And then I'm going to go ahead and select Ritual, so I don't see all my characters, but if you just started Path of Exile, just load right back in. So this is how you get basically Freetown portals. Smart game mechanics. And he'll grant us a book for completing it, and we'll grant ourselves a passive point by right-clicking on it, and we can get more skills. We're going to go ahead and get way more damage over here. So now that we've done that, we will go continue. So we'll go select Prisoner's Gate. And we will do the way forward. And there's another quest that we haven't gotten yet that will also grant us another skill point. You can see, like, we're now going a lot faster. So we're pretty much one-shotting most of the things, as long as the Molten lands.
Isn't everything.
But if you happen to get like an item that has like 4 links, and you get like an added fire damage onto it, you can get more damage. Because the thing with like this game in terms of like a playthrough, there's a lot of variances to like, you know, what items you can get. I try to at least get all the blue guys down. As long as I'm one-shotting things, I can start scaling more defensively. As this item that we got was really nice. It just has a massive amount of physical damage, which is primarily what we will be scaling in our build, at least as of right now. It all depends on, you know, what we get for drops too. Like if I get in some insane item that's just really good for cold, I might start scaling for like extra like cold damage or something like that. Go to the ship graveyard. We also got another skill point, so we'll go put that in. Now I'm gonna get, like I said, we're gonna get all these nodes, and then we're gonna start scaling life and more rage for when we get rage, which is a new mechanic that we'll explain once we get to it. There's fire graves over here.
Farewell.
Find the All Flame. There's another optional quest.
My mana is gone.
That's why I like to have 2 mana flasks. Oh, what the heck? Okay, there we go. like kind of disappeared for a second. In the first day of a lot of the Path of Exile leagues, servers can be a little bit stressed. So if you have, ooh, Superior Flicker Strike, what? That was random. This is something that we will definitely be using. It was super random. Okay. That's actually a skill that I had planned to get, but it's got what's called quality, and when you increase the quality of a gem, it will also kind of upgrade it in another way. Eventually, you'll get all your gems to max level, max quality. It's just a matter of a long time. Right now, we're just kind of hugging the edge. We're looking for the exit of this area. You can see we got chilled over there, so that makes us move a little slower. Here we go. Cavern of Wrath. And go get. Let's see, what do we have? I don't think we really have anything else to like upgrade or do. I could go back in town and look for like a 4-link. No, we could go ahead and do that. You know, because this is a like, you know, I'm showing you guys how to play the game from start to finish. This is actually something that's important. I should check out the vendors. Sometimes they will have good stuff. Usually this is only for like very early on. But if you need like a very specific like link setup, it's worth it. So we're gonna go ahead and purchase items from him, and we can go through multiple pages. Make sure you check out all the tabs. So you'll see that there probably won't have any 4 links. I mean, getting a 3 is probably the most that they'll have at this stage of the game. As you progress, you know, they'll have better items and stuff.
Be well.
But we have another reward. We have Infernal Blow, Static Strike, Sweep, Sunder, Earth Shatter, Spectral Throw, Chain Hook. This skill looks really cool. I really like how it looks. But this could also give us the introduction to Rage. So we'll go ahead and grab that. I think it doesn't require a very specific thing. Mace, Scepter, or Axe. So if I mouse over it, it's a mace. We in the clear. We can go ahead and... Actually, let me see. Actually... Oh, one-handed mace. Never mind, we can't even use this. So like I said, some weapons will require a very specific item as far as a weapon type. And I can still upgrade it. I'm not going to use this skill, but I still want to grab it because I want to show you it because it looks really cool. There's a lot of skills in the Path of Exile that it really comes down to your playstyle. Although for Marauder, in terms of like if you're trying to follow this build, you're gonna have to stick with melee. However, you can convert. I mean, it's not impossible to convert. But for your first character, if you do it like blindly, I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be hard. It's not that you can't do it, it's just that you kind of need someone to tell you what to go. And that's why you can follow my advice in terms of our like skill tree and what points we're putting into. And again, I'll link it down below, kind of like the general idea. It's not going to be exact though, just as a heads up, as that one is for a previously, like it's from a previous patch that I don't know if I think they've probably updated Path of Building. So there's a lot of like tools that us content creators use to create Path of Exile content, and some of them they don't get updated because we don't know what's in the game. Like there's might be like a special unique item that might completely change up the build. Go ahead and start leveling that up. Throw that totem down. We can also throw our steel skin, get some damage mitigation. Oh, nice. Like I said, I probably recommend you guys to do all those rituals, and I see them, I'm like, I kind of want to do them, but we'll do most of them in part 2 or 3. Depends like how fast we start like getting our build up. It also depends on our drops, as in part 2 of our playthrough, which will be Act 2, we will mess around with the trading in the game. We'll do our first intro to trading. as there's a few little like unique items that you can buy for very, very little amount. So this was basically a trapped chest. Ambrosia comes out. Go ahead and get her down. Okay, so I want to identify all the boots that I get. Because, oh my gosh, we got so lucky on that one. What am I doing? Leaf Slam? I'll swap it out with Melee Splash for now.
I do not know how to use this.
Oh, hold on. We need some more stats. We might actually have to wait one level. 21 int. Okay, so this is where I'm going to like kind of go off of my tree. It's not that big of a deal though. It just grants us the ability to equip stuff earlier on. That's 20 int and dex. A lot of classes in the very beginning, unless you happen to have an amulet, which we don't have right now, it'll grant us the ability to get more stats so we can equip something. So we're going to fight the Siren. It's the Act 1 boss. And we just can... Oh my... If you die, it's no big deal. I was surprised you did that much damage. Yeah, you generally don't want to stand, but I was like, nah, dude, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. We weren't fine. But there's really no penalty to dying in the very beginning of PoE. I mean, yeah, dying kind of sucks, but like it's not a big deal because you can just like warp right back in. Yeah, so basically, when she does that move where there's a bunch of icicles that come down, don't stand in it. I mean, I obviously know that too, but like I was like, nah, dude, we could. This is her second phase. And then you'll see where there's these little like tornado water spouts. Don't stand in those. They do damage. Just gonna let my life recover a little bit. Oh, hopefully we can kill the trash so we can get our flash charges up. It's okay if you die, like I said. It happens.
I cannot do this yet.
I should have 2 flasks for heals on this. In fact, we can go ahead and just do that right now. Because I don't really need to like move faster. I just wanted to move faster so I could go through content faster. Alright, there we go. And some extra gloves. They could be good. Let's go see if they are indeed an upgrade. So we got extra physical damage. That's nice. An extra 2 life hit for each enemy hit by your attacks. That's going to significantly help out because I believe she hits for cold. And our resistances, if we hit C, I believe this is the default. It could be different, but I have mine bound to C. So I can check over here, and I'll go ahead and move my cam out of the way once again. So if I go ahead and check my defenses over here, I can see my resistances. I had 0 on everything, but that's fine. As we progress in the game, we're going to get a lot more resistances, as that will definitely be required to, you know, obviously mitigate the amount of damage that you take. Usually what happens is towards the end of the game, you'll have 75 at least to all of the resistances, but I'll go ahead and throw my cam back on, and we'll finally get to Act 2. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of stuff for lore, but we're right about to get to the next town over here, and we'll actually see if we got an upgrade for our weapon. So we got 18 to 37, and we basically want to try to get as much physical damage as possible. So the nice things with this are going to be the increased physical damage, and then the life gain on kill isn't bad. This is 3 life gain on kill. This one also adds 17 to strength. And I'm going to value that over basically the small amount of crit. The life on kill, like, yeah, it's a little bit less, and the stun threshold, I really don't care about that at all. It's just right now, it's just two-handed big weapon. And then we're going to get the extra stat point into intelligence and dex, and that will grant us the ability to use those boots that grant movement speed. We'll go do one of these. Oh, about an hour. I guess pretty accurate. I said it was like about an hour and a half for like part one. Part one is the longest just because I'm explaining a lot of things. I'm slowing down. Wait, did we not restart this? Oh, I think how it works is you have to kill a certain amount of enemies. Like if there's not, if there is too many enemies around. Let's go summon our totem over here. Oh, that's really fast. Alright, what are we getting? Ooh, this is not bad damage on the axe this early on. But we're doing two-handed, so unfortunately that won't be really utilized. This doesn't give us movement speed, because some resistances. This is a jeweler's orb, and these are going to be... That's nice. I mean, I don't really need these right now. But getting those for free is awesome. That's like one form of currency. But I'm just getting extra. Wait, does this transfer to the next area? I want to see how much we have. 440. I wonder if this transfers to the next area or not. Like as in the stuff that we do. Actually, I want to get the boots equipped just so we can get extra movement speed. But these monkeys, they just come down right from the trees, so... Actually, we're pretty much at the town over here. Alright, so now we can go ahead and put on that passive point. And... Hold on, let me just summon that totem. Totem, go deal with him. So, we're going to get this. It grants us extra attack speed, but the main reason why I want it, it also grants us crit chance. Like, it's overall like a really good thing to grab. And then this is also really good. I probably could have grabbed this instead, but I'm trying to get as much damage as possible. But that costed us a death, but it wasn't that big of a deal. So, now that we have this, I still want to upgrade melee splash. Chain hook is something I wanted to show off, but we get extra resistances, but more importantly, that movement speed. It's nice. So now we get to move a little bit faster, and it all adds up. We're going to eventually get 100 plus movement speed, which is going to be really, really nice with the new buffs that the Berserker has gotten. So now we're in Act 2. So we've completed our first act, and I'm going to see if we have any forms of currency. I don't think we really do, but I'm going to go ahead and sell my items, and...
What do you want?
Actually, we can identify this. Let's see what it does. So if you identify something, it sometimes can be worth more. Now, this one isn't linked. I wouldn't waste a fuser on this, as fusers are a little bit more of a pricier item. Although this one, the basic color on this one is going to be green because it grants evasion. If it grants energy shield, it's usually going to grant you a higher chance to get blues. There's what's called hybrid, and they have a chance to get both. But I really like this. This armor is definitely way better than what we currently have. However, this one has the sockets that I need for right now, and that's what I'm going to value. So I'll keep this until we get, let's say, like a helmet, because this helmet does absolutely nothing. If this was just linked, then I would just swap this out immediately, as it grants us more armor and more evasion, which will grant us a chance to be able to not take any damage at all. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for part 1 of our Path of Exile new player guide playthrough. There's a lot more mechanics, obviously, to show off, so hopefully you guys enjoyed part 1 of our playthrough. If you did, drop a like on it, and if you'd like to see more of it and you happen to be new here, if you subscribe, turn on that bell, you'll see a lot more very soon, as I'll be dropping these videos really fast, as I want to progress to the end game as well, but I'm going to be doing it a little bit slower so I can go ahead and show you guys all the mechanics, as there's just so much to learn with this game. But like I said, we'll do everything in the game. Anyways, thanks for watching part 1, and part 2 will be up very soon. But take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next part where we show off trading and Act 2. I'll see you guys next one. Peace.